What is up, Steelers Nation? Thank you so much for jumping on to another episode of All Steelers Talk live from St. Vincent College here at Pittsburgh Steelers Training Camp. I'm Noah Streckbein, joined always by my main man, Jacob Punturi. Find us on youtube.com/All Steelers Talkers. Subscribe anywhere you get your podcast. The Pittsburgh Steelers, first day in padded practice. Some people look good. Some people didn't look good. Some concerns have been raised. We're diving into everything, and as always, answering your questions. Shout out to all of our super chatters and our members as always. 9 million degrees. I just ran up and down some steps, so I'm a little out of breath, but it's all right. We'll get through it. Hope that everybody who showed up today stayed hydrated, got some good sunblock on, and was alive and well leaving this place because, man, it was a brutal one here in good old Latrobe, Pennsylvania, but a fun one. I can't wait to dive into it. Jacob, how you feeling, my friend?
Struggling a little bit, you described yourself as feeling limber from the dehydration just a minute or two ago. I am very much the opposite. I feel like everything is sort of like crunching into one another. So I'm just trying to push through here, man. But I'm feeling good. It's hard to complain too much. We got to watch Steelers practice in pads for the first time this summer. We've been anticipating it. Yesterday felt like the biggest sort of takeaway for the rain to come and ruin it. And so for them to actually get on the field today, for that intensity to finally be turned up a little bit, got me so excited. And I think I'm having some sympathetic soreness for the players. And maybe that's why I'm so crumpled up right now. Not because I'm terribly out of shape or anything like that.
I kind of love that. I kind of love that. You know what I mean? It's getting in shape. You got to start somewhere. That's what I always say. You got to start somewhere. And for us, it is just about ready to faint in the middle of a practice that we are not participating in. But I feel like we're making progress. When I go home and can touch my toes after I've been properly hydrated, it's going to be a good time because I tried that on the sidelines earlier, as you saw, and it was rough. I felt every muscle in my toes pull. That's not a good, it's not a good place. I hope that you're hydrating over there. How many waters did you snag after practice? What's the numbers you grabbed?
I got 2 right next to me, had 2 right before I came up here. So, we got an equal parts rapid rehydration process happening, plus fighting the need to pee. Some people say heroes don't wear capes. They just wear polos up at St. Vincent's College, and I can't deny it. That's just where I am right now.
Yeah, I hear you. I went 4, drank 3 of them. We're down to the last one here. Nick Fairbaugh was sitting next to me. He slapped down 3 more. Shout out to Aquafina, because to be honest with you, this is the biggest sponsor of Pittsburgh Steelers training camp for sure. I was talking to Brandon Johnson after practice, and it was awesome because I said, have you ever experienced anything like this? He's like, dude, I'm from Fort Lauderdale. And then he looks at me. He's like, this is worse. I was like, that's crazy. Here we are. Things are good. The Pittsburgh Steelers put some pads on today, a highly anticipated practice for the black and gold. Backs on backers is obviously the big one, but there was so much to watch. It was really the first time that we got to see physical football 100% live. What's going to happen? Who's going to look good? Who's not going to look good? I think there are some clear takeaways from this one. I'll start with the offensive side of the ball because I think it's the easiest one to latch on to. They did not look good. The Steelers offense looked, very underwhelming and at no point exciting, to be really honest. It started strong. DK Metcalf catches a touchdown in the corner of the end zone, 7 shots, and you're going, all right, just beat Darius Slay. That looked really good. Aaron Rodgers comes back with another one, escapes the pocket, finds Jonnu Smith wide open in the end zone. Feeling really good about where the day is going to go from there. Jaylen Warren runs one up the middle. It only adds to the excitement. And then team starts, and then backs on backers start. And there was almost no other moment throughout the entire day where you sat there and with the offense won that rep. In fact, there were a lot of moments where you went, what just happened on that rep? And it's a lot of Aaron Rodgers making some weird throws, but it's a lot of guys like DK Metcalf not running right routes. And it's a lot of the offensive line getting blown up. It's a lot of Joey Porter Jr. making plays in the backfield when you didn't think that he was going to be the guy making plays in the backfield. The offense as a whole, I don't think you could really narrow it down to one guy. Did not look impressive at all today. I thought they looked more concerning than anything. Now, I'm not particularly worried about Aaron Rodgers yet. I'm going to put a side of caution out there because Aaron makes it very known. Yeah, I'm going to throw some unorthodox passes. I'm going to try some things and see where I could test the limits here, because I'd rather test the limits here than in week 1 at MetLife Stadium. Still, you watch a practice like today, at least on my side, you don't walk away feeling good about where this Pittsburgh Steelers offense is. And they've been rough for a couple of years, but this one, I'm not going to say is worse than the ones of the past, but just another reminder that maybe we get a little bit excited. And today was a bit of a humbling moment. How do you feel about the offense today?
Yeah, I mean, easy to call the offense the general quote unquote losers of the day. And I think, I agree with you 100%. Aaron Rodgers said this exact sort of thing a couple of days ago. This is the time to sort of make all of these wild throws, to make these mistakes, to iron out those kinks, all of those things. So, yeah, I'm certainly not going to the panic meter. I'm not pressing the panic meter on the offense, or I'm not anywhere close to it either. But there's just no denying that today was a rough day for them. Started off really well. Again, the DK Metcalf catch in the end zone was a wonderful start. I kind of had this idea in my head from that, which was like, okay, the connection's starting. Here's that chemistry building between DK and Aaron Rodgers. And now we're just going to see it sort of accelerate and escalate forward from here on out. But that didn't happen. Once they broke apart and went into the individual drills, it really seemed to show and exploit and reveal all of the areas where the Steelers offense is very insufficient right now. And I think the one thing that stood out to me was pass blocking in general, and just sort of, I feel very concerned with where the team is at. Again, first day of padded practice. I don't want to be, banging the drum here for panic mode, but the pass protection start to finish from individual drills on backs on backers for the 7 shots, and then the team drill periods, was not impressed anytime Aaron Rodgers, Mason Rudolph, Will Howard, Skylar Thompson was dropping back to throw a pass. Seemed like the defense was winning almost every rep, and it seemed like the wide receivers and tight ends and running backs were not successful beating their men, and it seemed like screen passes and little dips and dunks were the only thing that worked when they were going full out. So offense had a tough day, but I mean, hey, I think if there is a bright side of this, an Aaron Rodgers led offense that struggles in a practice setting is most likely, or at least in my opinion, likely to come back with a vengeance either tomorrow or the next time they wear pads. And then you go and you learn from this. It's a learning process, and I want to be cognizant of that, and I want to give them the space to improve. And if they're going to improve, you're going to have some bad days along the way. So tough day, but I think it was a learning curve kind of day for them.
Yeah, I agree. I hope. I don't know when the learning curve kind of ends. That's, to me, that's what gets a little bit concerning here, is that Aaron didn't look good last week. The offense didn't look good last week. It's a new week. At some point, you got to start looking good. At some point, you got to have a good day. At some point, you got to steal the show. And if they come back tomorrow and they do that, then today is nothing but an overreaction. That's all it is. It's just, okay, they didn't look good for a while, and then it clicked and everything was fine. And there are pieces that look good, like, I mean, DK had moments where he's like, okay, Pat Fryermuth looks totally fine. Totally fine. But Jonnu Smith doesn't really stand out at all the way that I thought he was gonna. DK, I think, is, the biggest alarming part of DK right now is the fact that not once but twice DK ran routes that you went, looks like he pulled up there. Looks like he just went 75% when if he went 100, Aaron just throws a beautiful football to him, and everything's fine and dandy. Roman caught some passes with the second team, but Brandon Echols made Roman look like he couldn't do anything in one-on-one drills. It wasn't even remotely close. That's what today was, where it kind of set you up for maybe what is an overreaction, but there just wasn't the moment to latch onto. It was a lot of okay, give me something, give me something, give me something. Down to the point of Jaylen Warren didn't look great in backs on backers. And that's the one guy you expect to look great in backs on backers. That wasn't there. Caleb Johnson doesn't look good at all in backs on backers. Kenneth Gainwell, the best running back in backs on backers today. There's a real argument for that. That's where we hit. Which again, tomorrow's fine. This is an overreaction. But today, the takeaway is you left practice, and we were not alone. Everybody else said the same thing. Offense doesn't look real good. And the parts of the offense that you were hoping look good, Calvin Austin, I don't think caught a pass today. His best moment came when he juggled and caught 7 punts without putting a ball down, which was incredible. Don't get me wrong. But you looked at Roman, you looked at Robert Woods had an okay day, but with the third string, Rock Taylor, like maybe the most impressive, and hello, Rock Taylor, welcome to the chat, but maybe the most impressive wide receiver for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And then I don't think they had a successful run when going full speed. I don't think it happened. So all that collectively, I just feel like, again, tomorrow's great. Awesome. Today, yikes, yikes. What's your concern level with Caleb? Do you have one? Like Caleb looked atrocious in backs on backers, and he did. Like I'm not exaggerating there. He looked really bad. And I talked to Malik Harrison afterwards, who, the dude broke him down twice, and he was like, yeah, man, like Caleb's gonna learn from that. And he said he's got to learn like where to put his hands. That's the biggest thing. But once he could get there, he's got a lot of strength. So I think it's a learning curve. But Caleb did not look good today, I think, at all. Am I overreacting on that one too? Like, I'm not trying to eat these guys apart. I think I mean, you guys know me. I'm the Caleb fan club here. I'm the Caleb Johnson. The dude put me to bed watching his pitch highlights the night of the draft. It's still a story I will tell for until the end of time. Today was a day where he was on the list of guys that I wanted to watch. He was also on the list of guys that I thought were very disappointing, running the football and blocking throughout the day.
Yeah, it was a tough day for Caleb Johnson. And I think, honestly, in the same way that it's a necessary evil for the offense to have its struggles, I think it's a necessary evil for Caleb Johnson to take his lumps here. Because, yeah, backs on backers was tough. It was tough to watch him, and it was tough to watch Malik Harrison dog him a couple of times, and then Caleb Johnson ask for another rep, which I love the confidence. I love the gumption from the rookie. He's like, give me more. Come on, give me more. But he asked for it. And I believe Mike Tomlin said, if you ask for it, you better win, or something along those lines, and he did not. So that's a tough lick for him to take, but I think that's the road for a rookie in the NFL. The expectations, the excitement has been so high for the offense and for Caleb Johnson, and I think that's still warranted. I'm not panicked. I'm not overly concerned, but I think this is the time for those flaws to come to the surface. It's time for the excitement to sort of get pushed aside just a little bit whenever you see the reality in front of you, and then you can make the adjustments. We saw Caleb Johnson, as soon as practice was over, he was on the side field with Jaylen Warren, going through the sled, working on pass protection, working on getting his hands up quicker, to your point, Noah. So I'm not concerned. If I had seen a really poor performance and then saw him sort of just hang his head, go off the field, have a really sullen moment because of that, that would cause me concern. That would make me feel like maybe he doesn't have the mentality to rebound, to improve, to the resilience necessary to be the number 2 running back. But that's not what happened. He went right to work. He had a tough day, but he got right back on that horse. He's working hard. And Jaylen Warren said the same thing as well that Malik Harrison said. He said, we're going to keep working on it. This is the improvement process, and this is kind of how it goes. So concern meter, I'll call it a 3. You feel right now that Jaylen Warren and Kenneth Gainwell should absolutely be the running backs in on pass protection downs.
Yes.
But now that there is an opportunity here for Caleb Johnson to be put in these situations to get better, and hopefully he responds accordingly.
Yeah, I agree. And again, like Caleb's like a guy that I'm so excited for. It's just a matter of a really bad day, not a kind of bad day, a really bad day. Like that's the takeaway of today is it wasn't kind of bad, really bad offensive day. Let's talk about the good, though, because the defense looked ridiculous. And who stood out to me, there are a couple of guys, okay? You have the classic day one winner of pads, which Mark Robinson made everybody look like a small child compared to him in any drill, dude. You put pads on, day one of pads, nobody is more excited. Nobody's going faster. Nobody's got more juice in the tank than Mark Robinson. That guy is a freak. Evan Hall, I felt terrible for him. He got pancaked by this dude twice. The first time he beats him, just beats him. Then he's like, I don't want to go again. Mark Rob literally ran through the man. And then he gets up and he's like, oh my gosh, what's going on here? Where, like, can we go again? Peyton Wilson literally says, he's like, no, dude, you're done. Like, this is you're embarrassing yourself. Please stop. The defense looked great. I thought Malik Harrison looked good today. I thought Mark Robb obviously looked good today. I thought Joey Porter Jr. looked like a stud out there, which was really impressive to see. And I do think that the defense as a whole, while the offense didn't look good, looked really, really good most of the time. And there were some guys that really stood out. Your thoughts on the defense?
Defense looked excellent. Joey Porter Jr. is who caught my attention time and time again in practice today, and it feels like with the arrival of Jalen Ramsey, this the Jalen Ramsey effect is what I'm going to call it on Joey Porter Jr. And this man was fired up today. And, you know, pads come out, everybody takes it up another level, everybody turns it up a notch. But Joey Porter Jr. was quick, explosive, antagonistic on the field. He was certainly, you know, an antagonizer in the scrum that broke out with Bobby Trees today. And he talked about it after practice. You know, he was like, it's the heat. We're trying to, you know, pick things up a little bit, get the intensity going. It's all, you know, within the respectful confines of the game and competition. You know, it's not anything to worry about, but I love to see how much fire he's playing with. This is a pivotal year for Joey Porter, and he has come in and he looks like he is not only improved, he's not only focused and motivated, he looks like a leader on the defense. And I think really that is a confidence that Jalen Ramsey brings and instills in the rest of the defense. And I feel like it has allowed Joey Porter to really come on strong and be like, I'm the man. This is my spot. I'm the dog on this defense, and I want to earn it like I did in year one in the NFL. So he had an excellent day. Defense overall, but mostly Joey Porter Jr.
No, I agree that Joey was the stud of the day. He really was. Like, Mark Robb was the guy who stole the show, but Joey he started the day with team drills, Jaylen Warren in the backfield. 2 plays later, Jaylen Warren in the backfield. The difference was the first one, Jaylen went outside, and Joey had an opportunity to make a tackle and made a tackle. The second one was right up the middle. Why Joey was there, I don't know, but he was there, and he looked really good in the moment. Joey looked fantastic today. I thought Jaylen looked good today as well. I thought Deshaun Elliott looked really good today. I thought he had a couple of plays where he was just flying around all over the football. Peyton Wilson, what were your thoughts on Peyton Wilson? I'm curious to know what your breakdown of him would be.
To be quite honest, there was not a ton that caught my attention and that really made me feel like he stood out, aside from the backs on backers reps that he went with Kenneth Gainwell. I think that was maybe the most entertaining part of camp, the two of them going at it. I mean, that you have, you know, like we said a minute or two ago, the best of the Pittsburgh Steelers running backs pass protection. You have Peyton Wilson, the best cover linebacker in the world. He also looks much stronger compared to last year as well. And to see him and Gainwell going back and forth, it got heated. And then as soon as that, you know, that drill ended, they were dapping each other up and right back to it. But when we were in team periods, I thought he looked fine. I didn't think he looked like a standout. And to be honest, he was not the middle linebacker that I was watching the most. That ended up being Mark Robinson and Malik Harrison for the most part. So not a bad day, but I think not a stellar standout day. He's certainly not part of the standout winners for today for me. Do you feel any differently?
No, I agree with you. Like, I looked at Peyton Wilson and I thought he had an opportunity to like really kind of come onto the scene and make some noise. And I don't think he had the craziest day, but I do think he looked good at times. I think what I liked about Peyton Wilson today, is the fact that in backs on backers, he wasn't just trying to kill people. He was trying to make his way through guys. Like, he looked at it and he was like, all right, how do I get past this guy? Which, that's his game. You know what I mean? You're faster and you're more athletic than most of those guys. Use that to your advantage. Get past some guys. You know what I mean? Make plays there. That's what I really liked about Peyton Wilson today. I also thought Patrick Queen and him looked, you know, pretty smooth in the middle with pads on when everything was going full force, which I thought was good. Cole Holcomb was a name that I thought looked real good today. I thought Cole Holcomb looked real good out there. He looked physical. He definitely won all of his backs on backers drills. And I mean, he made a couple of plays and got up and was fired up about it. And I think today is such a massive day for Cole Holcomb. I think that's overlooked, and I think he won it. You know, you want to talk a winner of the day. I thought it was Cole Holcomb.
Yeah, I appreciate you bringing him up because yeah, he is just taken every day in stride, and it seems like he is just getting incrementally better and returning to his 2023 form with every passing day here with the Steelers. Yeah, he looks excellent in the middle linebacking depth. You know, if we want to talk about winners overall, the middle linebacking depth of the Pittsburgh Steelers seems to be absolutely electric. I mean, with Cole Holcomb coming on, with Mark Robinson having the first day of the 2025 season where he has looked like a competent player, like a player that could steal a spot on the 53-man roster, with
Yeah.
Malik Harrison looking well, with Peyton Wilson taking a step, Patrick Queen excelling. It's been the middle linebacking group has impressed me so much so far. So yeah, Cole Holcomb is a huge piece of that, and I think the better he plays, the more he can push Peyton Wilson, the more he can push Patrick Queen, and the better the middle of this defense will become, and the more consistent the middle of this defense will become. So yeah, huge day for Cole Holcomb. Seeing him be as consistent and as athletic as he's been over the first week and a half of camp has been such an encouraging sign for the Steelers defense.
I agree. All right, let's do what we do every day. Your winner for first day pads. Who's your big winners?
Big winners. Mark Robinson. I know we talked about him a bunch already in the first 20 minutes, but I mean,
All right, it's the easy one.
It's hard to not pick them, you know, especially when they come out of nowhere. And I think the other one, I have to go. We didn't really talk about him a bunch, but I want to give Rock Taylor a shout out. This was the first day that I finally feel like I saw those pieces of Rock Taylor on the field in game situations or game-like situations where
Yes,
he is
sir.
excelling. That him without pads is just not an exciting thing to see. He's not the cleanest or crispest route runner. He's not the fastest guy on the field at all times. He's not the tallest guy on the field at any moment, but you put pads on him, and kind of like Mark Robinson coming out of his shell, he all of a sudden looked so much more explosive. He looked like
Yes.
contested catches were easier for him. It looked like defensive backs had a harder time picking him up in his route tree. And it was just very impressive. He had a couple of nice catches as well to go on top of it. And for the first time, and I said this to you and a couple other people, I was like, this is the first time I've seen Rock Taylor show me something. So I think that's huge as well, especially as the wide receiver depth continues to be a question mark. Spot seems to be solidifying, but there are spaces open if someone continues to rise out of that group.
Yeah, that's a great one. Rock Taylor. I mean, Mark Robb, obviously, but we've gone on this is pretty much just the Mark Robinson show today. Rock Taylor, he did. And me and you looked at each other too, because they were running just like routes. They were just doing routes, and he, we both looked at each other because we went, he looks better, but that was a bad route. That was not a good route. And the rest of the day, he looked great. The rest of the day, he looked very impressive. So I agree with you. Like Rock Taylor, it was a hello, welcome to really the NFL moment for Rock Taylor, for us at least. His back shoulder catch from Skylar Thompson along the sidelines, he made a really nice one. I don't know who's guarding him, but Skylar Thompson threw a really nice back shoulder right on the sideline. Rock caught it perfectly. I thought it was great. I really do think that he stood out today for sure. My big winners on defense, I think it's Malik Harrison. I think I'm going to stick with the linebacker room. Joey Porter is a good one for sure. You know, I would put him out there as well. I think Joey, to me, today was a day that Joey closed down a lot of question marks about if he's going to be great or not. You know, to me, it was like, all right, now we're excited about Joey. Malik Harrison, to me, today kind of solidified that he is the guy that's going to make the roster and everybody else has to fight behind him, which I think is big. I don't think we got there yet. And I felt like we got there today. Like, his size is ridiculous. And I truly do. Like, I think that Malik is a guy that's going to make some noise at some point, not crazy noise, but maybe on special teams, maybe on a third down play, you know, where you notice him and go, oh, Malik Harrison, glad we have that guy. On the offensive side of the ball, man, I don't even know if there was one. I really, truly don't even know if there. I thought Pat had a pretty good day. I thought Pat caught some passes that looked pretty all right. But besides that, I'll give you one. Troy Fautanu didn't look bad. Shut down Zach Sawyer a couple of times. I watched him block Alex Highsmith twice and beat Alex Highsmith. I thought that was good. That's the least flashy of the names you could have, but I thought Troy looked solid. Aaron didn't really have a ton of pressure. There were a couple of moments where you went, all right, that was a sack. But for the most part, like Jalen Ramsey went in untouched one time. So did Chuck Clark. But outside of that, it was a pretty clean day. I would do that. I would say Troy Fautano coming back from what he came back from. I think he would be my winner today.
He was excellent, and his health and his ability to become the anchor on the offensive line, I think, is something that we have not been ignoring, certainly not on purpose or anything like that. But the focus of the offensive line and the questions revolving around them has been on the left side of the ball for the most part. But when you look at the right side and you look at what a healthy Troy Fautanu brings, it is just stability. It is consistency. He is someone who you just set there at the right tackle and you just kind of forget about it in the best way possible. And so for him to be back, he looked excellent. He had some great reps against TJ Watt as well. And that iron sharpens iron sort of mentality is going to be huge for him, as well as he looks to have his real first year in the NFL. But yeah, he was great today. I was very encouraged by his performance.
Yeah. Okay. What are your losers? Who are your losers?
Losers are easy. Caleb Johnson took his licking today, and you just kind of roll with it and hope he responds. And then my other one is also on the offensive side of the ball, and this is not someone that we thought was going to push for a roster spot, but Gareth Warren, offensive lineman.
Gosh,
it's tough because the moments that I saw him get beat, I was like almost parallel to him for like 3 or 4 times, where it just, whoever he was matched up against was just blowing right by him. It was like, whoo, you could feel the breeze coming off of it. And it was just tough. He's a rookie out of Lindenwood College.
Yeah.
And so, the stacks, the deck was stacked up against him to begin with. And the effort's there for sure, but he just had a really, really tough day going against better competition. So, shout out to my guy, Gareth Warren. Got to keep grinding, my dog.
Dude, I felt bad for him. I think you felt bad for him. I think we watched him a couple of times just going, yikes, that guy. Yikes. Big yikes. Yeah, big loser on that one. Caleb, too, I thought had a bad day. He was going to be one of my losers as well. I have no losers on defense. I thought everybody looked pretty good on defense. I don't have anybody that really disappointed me. I think my losers today, I'll go right with the again. Jalen Warren was a loser today. I thought he had an opportunity to really look crazy, and he didn't, and it definitely showed. He wasn't great in pass blocking, which is his biggest positive. That's his biggest plus, and he didn't show out today. We'll see what happens on Backs on Backers on Friday Night Lights, because that's the next time and the last time that they'll do it, and that's like a moment where it gets real intense, but that's a good moment. That's a good judgment moment for that kind of stuff. And then my other one is I want to say DK. I want to say DK did not look great today. I thought he pulled up. He ran a couple of real rounded routes, pulled up on one route down the sideline where he was definitely open. Like, it just didn't feel like maybe he was gassed. Maybe it was how tired he was. I don't know, but it just didn't feel like DK was out there giving it 100%. And I'm not calling him out on that. I don't think that he was giving less than 100%. It just didn't look that way. I would toss him in my losers. But I would go, I think to be honest, I want to go the whole offensive line, but you want to know who I didn't see struggle today that I thought I would? Broderick Jones. Didn't see too much bad of Broderick Jones, or really the offensive line as a whole with the first team. But yeah, I would go DK and I would go Jalen as my losers.
Yeah, those are solid. I think one other I feel compelled to mention is we saw another issue with the snap between Zach Frazier and Aaron Rodgers, and I'm not sure. I wasn't. I didn't have a great vantage point for that play, but I just saw the muffled snap happen, and now this is, I think, the second day in a row, and maybe the third time since camp has opened, where we've had some issues with the exchange between the quarterback and the center. And yes. I still don't feel overly concerned about it, but it remains something that needs to be fixed.
It's there, dude. It's definitely there, and until it's not there, you have to keep talking about it, and you have to keep bringing it up, because it's not. You can't go into week one fumble a snap. First play you fumble it, chances are you're not going to win that game. That's That's where they're at, and it is something that needs to be fixed for sure. All right. With that said, we're going to start answering everybody's questions. Make sure you're tossing them in the chat. We'll be right back.
Pittsburgh, this one's for you. From the voices behind all Steelers talk comes Black and Gold Apparel, your go-to for bold, fan-driven merch that reps the city, the Steelers, and everything in between. Whether you bleed black and gold or just love that Pittsburgh grit, we've got something for you. It's more than a podcast. It's a community. And thanks to your support, we're proud to bring the passion from our mics to your closets. Gear up, stand out, and show the world what real fans look like. Shop now at blackandgoldapparel.myshopify.com.
All righty. Shout out to all of our super chatters. Shout out to all of our members. If you got questions, make sure you're tossing them in the chat. Shout out to everybody who called in today. Didn't even give a shout out to the salad, the picnic pack who made this morning. Fantastic. If you didn't check the call-in show out, it's a good one. Go check it out. Appreciate you guys as always. Let's get into it. Carl, mean cup of Joe Green bean salad spackler. That is a tongue twister and a half. Hey, Noah and Jacob, what did y'all see the Ravens players video in a pool asking Phelps for swimming lessons? I couldn't help it. LOL. Can only imagine what Ray Lewis would say. I did not. I don't know if you did. I just got to acknowledge the name. The mean cup of Joe Green bean salad is unbelievable. Unbelievable. Did you see the video?
No, I have not. I would love swimming lessons from Michael Phelps, though, I guess. Yeah, I didn't see the video. Now I'm very curious, Carl. So now I got some. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, we'll watch it on the way home. We'll watch it on the way home. Chris, I can't say enough how much hope I have for the season. Con, not worried about our depth. Depth scares the crap out of me. This is our Achilles heel. Thoughts? Yeah, I think that the depth is a massive concern. I think that the Pittsburgh Steelers offensive line does not have backups outside of Ryan McCollum and Spencer Anderson that could be trusted right now. I think that the wide receivers don't even have starters, let alone backups, which is concerning. I think the defensive depth is fine. Totally fine. But I think the offense, when it comes to two massive positions there, are very concerning. And the offensive line depth is like, it's Spencer Anderson and Ryan McCollum are great. The offensive tackle, you literally don't have anybody, and it is a concern.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, you mentioned Broderick Jones looking pretty decent today. I would argue Spencer Anderson looked like he not only held his own, but looked pretty decent in the left guard position, subbing in for Isaac Seumalo again today. So, I mean, that was at least somewhat encouraging. But overall, the depth on the offensive side of the ball is a huge concern. The offensive line depth is already been tested. It will be tested all season long. I don't feel confident in their ability to meet all of the challenges that will happen. And they're one injury away from, a DK Metcalf or something like that, and from having a really poor group of wide receivers for Aaron Rodgers to throw the ball to as well. So yeah, depth is a concern. I think Con has addressed it a ton, but not completely.
Yeah, I agree. God, I'm not gonna say it. Great name.
This is a family show, sir.
Great name. Funny name. Defense should be winning at this point in camp. I agree. You know what I mean? Like, I think there are a couple of people who kind of take our words and will make them, oh man, these guys are overreacting. I can't, it's day 2 of camp, whatever. I agree. But you have to also, we're not doing our jobs if we don't take what happens on the field and express it to you guys. If we don't, and everything comes with the disclaimer of like, it is early for sure, and the defense should look really good. I don't know if they should be winning. I don't think it's a guarantee that they should be the better half of the field right now, but I do think that it all comes with like the warning of like, it is week 2 of training camp. Things will improve for sure. This is the first time Aaron Rodgers is really running this offense, but you got to know a starting point, and the starting point is garbage. It's real low. Then I think I think you have to make both sides known there that like, yeah, it's good, but it's also terrible. Like the starting line here is not good at all.
Yeah, I definitely don't agree with the overall statement of like the defense should be winning. I mean, you have a 4-time MVP, future Hall of Fame quarterback. Like, you could easily make the argument that the offense should be winning in this lessened environment, in a non-game environment. You would think that Aaron Rodgers might hold the advantage as well, and that might be an argument you can make. So I don't agree with that point blank salad as well. But but I think it's not that they should be. It's just a sign of how much better the defense is and how much farther the defense is in terms of depth and schematic, like, put togetherness than the offense. And I think it reflects early on because they just are a little bit further ahead when it comes to everything compared to the offense.
Yes, I agree. Chris here. Guys, I know the offense looked bad, but the defense is fine. The defense does look fantastic. I think that's a strong point here, is that the defense does look good, and I hear what everybody's saying, which has to be acknowledged. But if you're going to beat the Philadelphia Eagles in the Super Bowl, you got to be able to beat good defenses. You know, you have to be able to beat good defenses. And I think that's a great thing to learn right now, obviously. But when you break it down individually, like if you play here's my example. Okay. It's the AFC North, or it's the AFC Championship game. You're playing the Baltimore Ravens. They have a phenomenal defense. If Jaylen Warren can't get 3 yards on a run and Aaron Rodgers can't complete a pass, you lose that game no matter how good your defense looks. So you need some offense, and the Steelers got to come up with some offense. Somewhere they got to come up with some offense.
Somewhere. I think the defense can be the thing that takes them, to the championship if that's where they are destined to go in 2025. It's not going to be on the back of their 41-year-old quarterback, but you have to score at least a touchdown at some point.
Yes.
And so, yeah, they got to improve.
Yeah. All Steelers talk, aka the salad bar. Shout out Rocky Mountain Oyster Salad. Got a shout out today in the call-in show. I want to say it was Coleslaw who gave a shout out to all the salads, and it was crazy the names he was coming up with. So shout out my guy. Is that a hot dog in your pocket salad? Shout out Mark Caboli, brother. Shout out Mark Caboli. Look at the little thing. Look at the little photo there. For those of you listening and not watching, go turn on YouTube and watch, because it's fantastic. Now that we actually have a competent secondary, how many sacks and picks do you predict for the season? Okay, so I'm not naming names here, but I was told by somebody that a lot of people would love to hear this from. Say the Steelers are going to lead the NFL in sacks. Guaranteed it, actually, that the Pittsburgh Steelers were going to lead the NFL in sacks. I'm not giving names. I'm not even giving hints at names. But let's just say if he was sitting here and said it, people would be pretty fired up. It would make a lot of headlines. So I think it's going to be a big year. Steelers are manning up everybody, and I think that's huge. If the secondary plays well, the front five is fine. Like, they're already going to make it work. TJ, Alex, Keanu, Cam, Derek, they're going to be fine. It's just about, do they have more time than they've had in the past to get to a quarterback? If that's the case, I think it's deadly how many sacks they can get. Interceptions, we'll see. But, you get to the quarterback, you can't do anything anyways.
Sorry, I was looking at some comments while you were talking, and they made me giggle. You'll see that while I respond here. I think the sacks are going to come no problem. I would say I'll throw an over-under at you, Noah, and let me know your thoughts. I'm sitting at around 48.5 as an over-under right now, and I'm kind of on the edge of taking the over. And so I don't know. Do you have any? I hope you saw the comments as well.
I did.
Over under 48.5 sacks. Where are you thinking?
I'm going under. I'm going over. I think the Steelers are clear 50, 55 maybe. Like, I think it's going to be a crazy sack. I just look at, if Jalen, Joey, and Darius could shut down wide receivers, what are you doing with the football? You're going to hold on to it. And while Joe Burrow is going to throw it away and try to make things happen, Lamar Jackson's not going to do that. Joe Burrow's not even going to do that. Let's be honest. Kenny Pickett will get rid of it. But Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson are going to try to make something happen, and they're going to get sacked. So, yeah, I'd go over. I would go over. I think it's going to be pretty crazy. Jacob's sweaty Diet Coke salad, which is so unbelievable. So unbelievable. He got in the car today with Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper, he said. He slapped it right down. I had a water and a coffee. Dr. Pepper.
Bang. Zero sugar.
For the win. for the win. Any injuries today? Yes. One defensive tackle went down. I have the roster in my pocket, actually, because I could not tell you his name off the top of my head.
Have fun with this pronunciation.
Yeah, without trying to pronounce it. It is, oh gosh, it's Assessi Otomiwo. That's who got injured. Knee injury, not looking great. Had to be helped off the field. At the same time, was like very down on the depth chart. So we'll see what happens. But that was the only injury today. Besides that, came out pretty scratch free, which is good. The all-purpose salad dressing. What's the record if the offensive line is great or bad? I think if they're great, it sticks to me with the 11, the 10 to 12 win mark. I think if they're bad, I mean, this season's could be disastrous if they're bad. If they are not that good at all, you could win 7 games. You'd have to be really bad to do that, but like it all depends on the offensive line. So if they're good, I'd give them 10 to 12 wins. I think it sits there. If they're bad, you're losing more games because your offenses rely on the offensive line. If you don't have a good offensive line, you're not going to be good at the end of the day. And the Steelers are still very much so up for debate.
For sure. Yeah. If they have a strong offensive line, I can see their ceiling being above 12 wins. I could see them being one of the most dominant teams if the offensive line performs at an elite level for the entirety of the season. I could see them reaching a 13-win mark hypothetically. If they're bad, I really do think that they are in danger, and Mike Tomlin is in danger of seeing his streak of winning seasons come to an end, because I do think the offensive line play is so it could be so detrimental to the Steelers season if it goes poorly. And there's so much boom or bust sort of quality to this offensive line that I really feel like they are either going to be so excellent that we were talking about, why didn't we say that they were a top unit 6 months ago? Or it's going to go so poorly that or the collective opinion and response will be, they need to address that first and foremost in 2026 because it's that bad.
Yes, that's so spot on. Like you're either going to be like, okay, this is good, or like, okay, we have to give up enough to get a quarterback, but we have to make sure that we have enough to get an offensive line too, because we have some holes there that we for sure need to fix. Daryl Patterson Salad, who's the UDFA guard from Minnesota, thought he looked fine.
Aiden Williams is his name.
Aiden Williams. So Aiden Williams has looked pretty okay. The problem with Aiden Williams is that he's had a lot of snap issues over the last couple of days. He's rolled 4 or 5 snaps on the ground to Skylar Thompson and to Will Howard. It has not looked great. If you could fix that, I think the Steelers actually like Aiden Williams. Does he make the team? I don't know. I think Ryan McCollum and Spencer Anderson are locks. If they keep another guy, maybe it could be a younger option instead of an older option like Max Sharping. He's looked fine at guard. I agree with you. He's had some snap issues over the last couple of days. He's had more than Zach Frazier, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I will say I love Aiden Williams' size. I mean, he's like 6'5", I want to say.
He's massive.
He's ginormous. And so you see him on the field, and he has some good mobility to him as well, especially for someone who is in their first NFL training camp. So, yeah, I think that's a really great call out there, and someone that might get some more looks as training camp goes on. But nothing is overwhelming me so far, really, with anybody's play on the offensive line. So I will need to see some more before I officially get on the Aiden Williams train.
I agree. And he's got an opportunity. He's got competition from him, but not the best competition. And the Steelers did like him, but you got to look good first. Interstellar Reaper, did Broderick Jones lose too much weight to play left tackle? Does he look worse? I don't know if worse is the word. He doesn't look good. He definitely doesn't look good. I don't know if the weight loss is an issue either, because he's not getting blown off the ball. He's not getting pushed back. He can't put his hands on anybody, which is his issue last year. Is when somebody came to him, his hands were all messed up. He couldn't get his hands on people the right way. That seems to be the case now. Like the viral Alex Highsmith play where, he just goes out and then goes in. Broderick doesn't even touch him. That's a classic Broderick play of just like, what happened there? How did you do that? He looks slow. I think that's the craziest part right now, is that Broderick, for a guy who is that skinny and athletic, does not look fast. I think that's the issue. I don't think he's lost too much weight. I mean, maybe we'll see. Only time will tell on that one. But I do think that for how skinny he is, it's like almost shocking how slow he looks out there.
I hate to say it, but the more I'm watching training camp, the more I feel like this is on Pat Meyer, and and maybe that's not like a crazy statement to make. I acknowledge that, but it's just, there's been so many small adjustments to Broderick Jones so far. There's been so many little things. He's always been one or two little things away from becoming that all-pro tackle. And to me, it's like, if it's just his hand placement is out of whack, well, I mean, why is Pat Meyer and Broderick Jones, why are they not in the stew every single moment working on hand placement and techniques and ways to improve that?
Yeah.
If there's something else going on and they're just like running him out there without trying to improve as well, or without identifying the key issues, I still think that falls on Pat Meyer and really the offensive side of the ball and coaching as a whole. So I really feel like if Broderick Jones does have another poor season, the failure to develop him, I think, is a direct reflection of the offensive line coach's failures.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that one. I think this is Pat Meyer's last season with the Pittsburgh Steelers, no matter what. But I don't disagree with that. I also think Broderick, he's had issues that I think I want to put on him as well. Like, he doesn't finish plays that often, and that's a problem. But I agree. Like, I don't think he's had any help in developing. I think I defend Pat Meyer more than anybody else, and in this instance, it's like, I hear what you're saying, because Pat's got to be looking at it going, how do I fix this guy? Because right now he's unfixable, and it's detrimental to the team. Like, it's very detrimental to the team. Tortellini salad. I miss the all salad talk call-in show. I called in too late, but what's your opinion on the Christian Wilkins story? It got weird pretty fast. I don't know all the details. I think I know a little bit more details than what's made public, but I can't. I'm with good faith. I can't tell. I can't say anything because I can't. Like, I'm not going to do that to somebody if it turns out to not be true. It does sound really weird. I don't even have what I have to say about this is that, like, anybody who's like pushing for Christian Wilkins to come on your team, he's still probably going to end up in the NFL somewhere. Like, this is not the end of Christian Wilkins. It wasn't like that weird. It wasn't like this is a serious issue. He can't be around people. It's just, I don't know. I think people got, like, it's the Russ thing. It's the Russ doing high steps on the plane where people are like, get him out of here, man. This guy's a big weirdo. It's like, what does everybody think? Because there are definitely some people who are like, get this dude the hell off the plane. Throw him right out right now. And then there are some people that are like, yeah, this is weird, man, but I don't really care. It's like the lady screaming on the bus, the Port Authority bus, where like some people are looking at you like, and then you're just sitting there like, oh, I hope she's good. I mean, like, I'm going to put my headphones back in and continue to listen to this audiobook because I don't really care that this lady's screaming. So it's just a matter of what you consider super weird and not. I still think he's going to end up on a team relatively soon. Actually, I think he's going to end up on a team. Have you heard anything about the Christian Wilkins thing?
No, and to be honest, I don't want to touch it with a 40-foot pole. So yeah, and a comment from Jacob there. I'm not even going to touch.
Yeah. Appreciate that. Cody Silva, Steelers, you got to be a stupid MF to get fired on your day off. God, I should have read the whole thing. Cordell Patterson talking about they got me on tape stealing box on Friday. What happened? I don't know what this means. Cody. You got to give me more context. I don't think maybe Cordell did steal something. Look, I'm shocked that Cordell lasted as long as he did. I think it's the biggest question of the Pittsburgh Steelers offseason is not what is going on with good old the good old offense, Aaron Rodgers, TJ Watt's contract. It was, why is Cordell Patterson still here? Please, someone explain that to me. Do you think he ends up on a team somewhere? You think Cordell Patterson plays in 2025 or ever again?
Yes. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a reunion with like the Atlanta Falcons or something like that. Yeah, I would be shocked if Cordero Patterson calls it a career after
Oh
this.
my
I mean,
gosh.
he
No,
can't
it's
listen.
from the Friday. It's from Friday, dude. That one went right over my head. It's from
Yeah, dude.
Friday.
I was just waiting for you to figure it. That's why I didn't even chime. I was gonna chime in, and I was like,
You had no
he'll
idea,
get
bro.
it.
Oh, we're right over my head. Fantastic line, dude. Unbelievable. Friday actually has been on since we've been talking about movies so often. So everybody's been tossing Friday out there. We were talking about the sequels and people toss it out there. And I immediately like went home and started watching it. I only made it about a half hour before I fell asleep, but we'll finish it. We'll finish it. Shout out, dude. What a great one. Go ahead. Sorry. Didn't mean to interrupt.
I just think Cordero Patterson will probably play again. I think like the Phoenix rises from the ashes, so too will Cordero Patterson in the NFL again.
Yeah. Shout out Cordero. Enigma After Dark. JPJ making plays for Lost Me More blitzes. The one up the middle, I think so. And it was weird. Like it was a corner blitz up the middle. Didn't make much sense to me. To be honest, though, I don't think it's the blitzes. I think it's the man coverage because once everybody realizes their guy's going to block them, they out. They're just, all right, crash downhill, everybody. That's going to be huge for the Steelers defenses. Blitzes will be there, but you don't got to blitz all the time if you're playing man defense. You could just trust your guys to know that this is a run play and you got to go figure it out. And if guys are close to the box, like a Jalen Ramsey or a Joey Porter or a Deshaun Elliott or whoever, they just have free will to say, go hit somebody. And that's going to be huge. So the man coverage to me is such a game changer for the Pittsburgh Steelers because it just makes your defense so much more capable of so many things. If they could do it, not everybody could play man defense, but if you can do it and do it successfully, you now run a defense that is scary good and has so many possibilities to be out there on the field. So yeah, I think that's where it came from.
For sure. Yeah. I do have the utmost confidence in this defense's ability to play man-to-man on a consistent basis. I feel like the tools and the players and their skill sets all sort of lend themselves to being a very productive man-to-man team. And I think while the Steelers have maybe claimed that they wanted to play more man-to-man in years prior, it has never been within their personnel's reach to do that effectively. But when you have three elite corners like they do right now heading into 2025, it feels a lot more doable. So yeah, I don't expect to see more blitzes either, but I do expect to see more one-on-one tackles, and that probably will lead to cornerbacks making tackles downfield a lot more, getting into the backfield, and hopefully making more tackles for loss as a whole.
Vodka sauce. Noah, it's no shock that the O-line struck. I don't know where the vodka sauce came from, except for that vodka sauce is fantastic. Me and Jacob were talking about me making him and his wife a good old Italian dinner in a couple of days with some Malonza, maybe a little homemade vodka sauce. And if you're in the Jessup area from Soriano's, no doubt about it, it's the best in the world. No, it's no shock that the O struggled, still trying to become a member. I don't know. Maybe I have to quit Chrome. Maybe. Let number 2 save Christmas. Peace out, number 8. Or love number 8, heart you. I like Mason. I do. I like this comment a lot, to be honest with you. I think Aaron, I'll say this. Aaron looks like a dude who's testing a bunch of stuff, but I was talking to Jerry Dulac today, walking down the sideline, and we both looked at each other and said, that ball was incomplete and still the best throw that we've seen a Steelers quarterback ever make. Aaron Rodgers is the best thrower of the football in the NFL still. It's insane watching him throw football, actually. Like, I've never seen somebody who just, like, naturally has the gift to throw a football like Aaron Rodgers does. It's crazy how well he could throw it. We'll see what happens, but, Aaron did. It blows my mind every single time. Chicken sees a salad. What do you call a chicken with lettuce in his eye? Is this a bad joke? Is this like a dirty joke or something?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I don't know. I'm hoping. Maybe.
Is there an answer somewhere in the comments?
Yeah, somebody's somebody's got to know. That's a Falcons. Oh, Oh, that's a Valken's from.
Yeah, this is the Vulcan.
Yeah. I don't know how to do these things. You guys are gonna hate me for this one, but I never watched Star Trek or Star Wars. Neither of them, any of them, not one. My dad hates me for it. This is yeah.
No,
it's bad. It's disappointing for sure. Rocky Mountain Oyster Salad, please bring us a tackle and a receiver. I'll do our best. I will do the best. I would say right now we are definitely getting to a place where I feel more comfortable that the Pittsburgh Steelers might actually make a move before the end of training camp. Who it's going to be, I don't know. I don't think there are names available yet that they'd go out and make a move for. But I do think we are hitting that point where like Roman is clearly not going to be a wide receiver 2. Calvin's fine as a wide receiver 2, but you need somebody else. And we'll see what happens. Do you feel different?
I don't feel differently in terms of, I agree with you. I think the need is there. And I think, that I need to see something drastically change in order to feel better about the tackle and wide receiver positions. But I'm not getting off my horse here regarding the Steelers' plans to not bring in another wide receiver. So I guess I could see maybe a tackle coming in. But, I still feel very, very not confident in another wide receiver coming in. And did you figure out the riddle?
Yeah, dude. Chicken Caesar salad. Chicken Caesar salad. What do you call chicken with lettuce in his eyes? Chicken Caesar salad. Chicken Caesar salad. Fantastic. I'm bad at this, guys. I'm bad at this. Things are going. It's just been, you know what I mean.
Brains. It was 102 degrees real feel up in Latrobe today, guys. The brains are fried over at All Steelers Talk. There's nothing left.
Fried. My eyes, dude. I can't I can't feel like I can't even open I feel like I have sunburn on my eyes. It's a good time. Interstellar Rapper, who do you guys think are the top 5 worst and best teams in the NFL? Oh, this is a tough one. The best teams, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Philadelphia Eagles, the Detroit Lions, the Baltimore Ravens, I would put on there. And who played in the NFC the Washington Commanders now? I'd go the Buffalo Bills. My worst teams, the who finished 2 of the first. Oh, the Tennessee Titans, the New York Giants, the Cleveland Browns,
New Orleans.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. The New Orleans Saints. I don't know. We need one more. And I think you could go Jacksonville. I think you could go. You could go Arizona, maybe. I don't think they're very good, but I don't think.
Did you say Cleveland yet?
Yeah, I saw Cleveland. They were up there. They were definitely up there.
Yep, for sure. I would put the Bears up there still. I've said this before. Caleb Williams does zilch for me. Wow. Does nothing for me. So they don't impress me very much. But I will also leave the door open for the fact that I could just be categorically wrong regarding the Bears and what Caleb Williams does in year 2. But right now, they're still a bottom 5 team for me.
Yeah. Chris, any updates on the backup tackle spot? No, nothing today. Dylan Cook, Calvin Anderson. Calvin Anderson moved back to the number 2. So there's your big update. To be honest, I wasn't like really paying much attention to him at that point. I was watching guys like Mark Robinson and Cole Holcomb kind of just destroy everybody. Again, though, like I said a little while ago, like I think that we're getting to a place where you're starting to believe that the Steelers might make a move, not for a starter, but maybe for a backup for one of these positions. But they have a lot of trust in Calvin Anderson and Dylan Cook, I guess. And we'll kind of see what happens. Maddie, they left the door open for Terry McLaurin. What are your thoughts on that? I did not see this or hear this, so I don't know what we're talking about. I'm guessing it was Omar Khan on the Pat McAfee show. I'd have to hear the context, because like leaving the door open for a wide receiver and leaving the door open for Terry McLaurin, they're two very different things. But I mean, we'll see. I do think that the Steelers will most likely add somebody to their wide receiver room between now and the start of the season. I don't think it's going to be Terry McLaurin, but I do think a wide receiver at some point's coming. I don't think you feel the same way, but maybe you do.
No, I don't. I feel most 100% confident in saying that I do not believe Terry McLaurin will be a member of the Pittsburgh Steelers anytime soon. Probably ever. I'm fine with them leaving the door open for the possibility. I think Omar Khan would be foolish to outright slam the door shut or to say that that's just not going to happen. I think he's trying to give himself, maybe to Noah's point, some more leverage, some more options, keeping all of his lines open and available for a wide receiver or offensive tackle trade. But yeah, I just think Terry McLaurin is going to cost too much to actually acquire, and then he will cost even more to secure to a long-term deal, which I think he deserves. I just cannot see the Pittsburgh Steelers giving it to him.
Yeah, I agree here. No excuses, Jacob. No excuses on your sweaty. I don't even, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
There's no excuses. Never.
Keeping it trucking.
No quit, never surrender.
Somebody came up with a drinking game today in the Collins show, and everybody be annihilated right now. Let me tell you, on the amount of times that I say keep it trucking and shout out, and some of them were just crazy. Some of them made me realize I have a very dumb vocabulary. That's what it was. Cordell Patterson salad, Trevor Penning, and a Chris Olave trade is coming. Man, I don't think Trevor Penning is the move. I really don't. Somebody could try to talk me into it, but I just don't think that. Chris Olave, I know they called about. I don't know if Chris Olave is on the table. I don't think he is right now. When he becomes on the table, maybe there's a conversation to be had. Trevor Penning, I haven't heard a thing about from the inside. So until I do, it's really hard to guess that. But Chris Olave, to me, if he becomes available, is just an easy answer, like a really easy answer, and one that I expect them to explore. But again, the Saints have to realize that they really suck before that happens. They're going to realize it; it's going to happen. But for right now, I think it's a little bit early.
I'm not going to be the one who talks you into Trevor Penning coming to the Pittsburgh Steelers. That is for darn sure. The dude was nasty coming out of college, and he liked to go beyond the whistle a little bit, and it got everybody excited that he was so smash mouth old school football. But then they put him on the team, he started facing really strong edge rushers, and similarly, my sources are trust me, bro, he's not going to do anything on the Steelers, and I just don't think that there's a lot that he offers that is truly an upgrade for what the Steelers are looking to do. I think he is just another body that comes in and then provides the same amount of question marks for the Pittsburgh Steelers offensive line.
Yeah, I agree. The all-purpose salad dressing here. Who's involved in the next training camp fight? This is a good one. Joey Porter's an easy answer. Jalen Ramsey hasn't fought anybody yet. That's going to happen soon. Cam Hayward hasn't fought anybody yet. That's going to happen soon. DK hasn't fought anybody yet. That's going to happen soon. What's your prediction? Who's your prediction?
I think we're going to see the feisty vet Cam Hayward getting in I want to say a Mason McCormick. I want to see a defensive line, offensive line sort of spat, and just to see what's going on there. So I'm going to make it's going to be two big old guys going at it in the next camp scrum here. And I'll go Cam Hayward versus Mason McCormick. What says?
No, I think Cam Hayward versus Mason is a good one. I think Spencer Anderson versus Cam is a good one. Jalen Ramsey, DK Metcalf is going to happen at some point. It's going to happen at some point for sure. Danny, I finally got the move done from Delaware, North Carolina. Glad to catch the lives again. Shout out my guy. Hope it was a good one. Do you think Omar will go after some offensive linemen before the season? We kind of hit on that. Are you hitting any preseason games? The Panthers. I'll only be, and Jacob potentially will be, at the home preseason game. The away ones, while I would love to travel to watch Skylar Thompson take some reps, I'm not going to do that. So we hit the home ones. I'll be at the home one. We'll be covering all of them, but just from afar. And then week one, off to good old MetLife. It's a good time. Maddie, did Will Howard get any reps in today? How did he do? He did get some reps in. It was just like another day, like every other day. There was nothing that really stood out, good or bad. Will just kind of looks like a guy who's. Did Will throw a pass today? Did he throw a pass in team today?
Oh, in team.
I don't know
if he
really
threw one
did.
in team. Definitely in drills looked fine in that regard. I didn't make any notes about. I'll look through real quick just in case, but I don't think I actually saw him throw any passes.
No, I don't think so either. I think it was a lot of running, but that's the thing with Will is like we're at a place where he only gets a couple of reps a day, and some of them are passes, some of them aren't, but it's really hard to judge. So again, he looks really comfortable out there. He looks confident, and I think that's a great place to be for right now.
He got that rock star reception too.
He did get a rocking crowd cheer from the crowd. For sure. Nickname ideas. Secondary is the no fly zone. I like that one. Or Ramsey, JP, and Slay are Control Alt Delete. I like that one. I like Control Alt Delete a lot, actually. You're muted.
Hopefully you can hear me now.
I heard you before, but nobody else did.
Was the no-fly zone the nickname given to like the Broncos secondary when they won that Super Bowl with Peyton Manning? Or am I
maybe
totally misremembering?
No-fly zone kind of feels like it's like the generic secondary name. Control Delete's a good one though.
Love that one.
That's a good one. That's a pretty banger right there. That's a good one. Lindsay, strawberry pretzel jello salad, which sounds fantastic. What's the biggest need now that you have seen them in pads? I'm trying hard not to judge here. Okay. I'm trying really hard, but I think offensive line depth is a must and is becoming a growing concern for me. And honestly, wide receiver too. Like they don't, to me, like have anybody that makes any impact besides DK. And Calvin's good, but like Calvin be great in the slot. You need somebody else though, and I just don't think you're just not getting that right now. Roman is almost a non-factor.
Yeah, I'm not quite ready to give up on Roman Wilson and Calvin Austin showing some sort of improvements, but and I agree with Noah. I think the biggest need watching this team in pads right now is depth on the offensive line, and maybe even improving the starting offensive line, not just having depth in case of injuries, but I feel less confident about the offensive line starters than I do about Calvin Austin and Roman Wilson right now after one day in pads. So yeah, call it an overreaction or call it whatever you want, but the offensive line really did concern me today.
Yeah, for sure. Pittsburgh Hornets with a good one. Does the offense look better or worse than the last two previous seasons? It's way too early to answer this. It's a great question. Phenomenal question. It's way too early to answer it without sounding like an asshole one way or another. Like it's way too early to be like, they're worse than they've been the last 2 years, and then they're not. I'll say this. The offense looks better than they looked with Kenny Pickett and Mitch Trubisky. Hands down. Without question. Last year, we'll see what happens. But they look better than they've looked than they looked with Mitch Trubisky and Kenny Pickett running the show, and I think by a large margin, without question.
Yeah, I don't know is my honest answer, but what I do know is that I was very impressed with how the offense looked at times in training camp last year and thought maybe they were going to turn the corner. We saw how that played out. So while it hasn't looked, miles and miles better than the past couple of years so far, I do not take that to mean it won't get there. And I certainly don't take it to mean that the offense will not look better once the real games start to happen.
Interstellar or Reaper, are you guys going to the Ireland game? I will be at the Ireland game. Super excited. Can't wait to get out there. I'll be out there early trying to set some stuff up to meet some people if we can. I hope if you're going out there and anybody else, you guys let me know for sure. The secondary should be called Interception Salad. This is the winner. Shout out my guy. Fantastic. Noah, do you play college football too or just Madden? Need an AST franchise mode and or dynasty? I play both, but to be honest with you, like it's just like the fantasy football league. Like it took me 2 weeks to log in. You will never catch me playing video games multiple times in a week. It's 7. Me and Jacob will get home about 8:30 tonight, and I will eat dinner and I will go right to bed, and that will be my next 3 weeks. So I love this. But what I do want to catch is like, let's set up some one-on-ones every now and then. Let's get into it. Let's do a little stream so I can talk some smack. You know what I'm saying? I'm all about it. I'm all about it. That's what I'm down for. You just let me know. You just let me know. Start bench cut, Cordell Patterson, Lima Swede, Gunner, the Polish fella whose last name I can't spell, Orszewski. This is a good one. This is a good one. We'll end it with this one. What do you got here?
Unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, my best buddy CP84 I think has to be the starter here. I mean, he is without a doubt the most accomplished, has the most NFL statistics to back it up. He's my starter for sure. He's a versatile weapon. 10 years ago, Lima Swede, who had big thoughts for him as a second round pick for the Pittsburgh Steelers all those years ago. I would cut him, to be quite honest, because he couldn't catch a cold. And so I think that leaves Gunner, the Polish fellow whose last name you can't spell, Olszewski, I believe is how you pronounce it. I'd keep him on my bench. That dude had some special teams grit, baby. So yeah, Cordero, Gunner, Limas.
That's the easiest answer ever, because Lima Swede was... It's hard to be the worst number 14 to come through the Pittsburgh Steelers. He was, without question. And then John here, heading up to Scranton for work the next 2 days. Where's the best place to grab a drink and read camp reports? Also, haven't heard much about Roman. What's up with him? Roman caught a couple of passes today, but Roman's been very underwhelming here. We'll see what happens. He's good with the second team. He doesn't take much first team reps now. I mean, Brandon Eccles shut him down so bad in one-on-ones that it was rough to watch. He needs to take a step forward. He hasn't done that yet. We'll see what continues to happen. Best place to grab a drink. If you're going downtown, Bloody Mary's is awesome. They're pretty chill. They have a good backyard deck or whatever. If you're in Scranton, man, I don't know. The drinks are tough. The bars are rough. Because you're gonna just hit College Town all the time. Go to the Glider Diner. Fantastic food. And then, make your way down to good old Jessup, Pennsylvania, and get some Italian food somewhere. Soriano's would be my guess in Peckville. That's where I send you. So go ahead down there. Call Russo's if you're going to Jessup. Shout out. All right. With that said, guys, we're heading out of here. Thank you guys so much for jumping on to another episode of All Steelers Talk live from St. Vincent College here at Pittsburgh Steelers Training Camp. Make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/All Steelers Talk. Check us out anywhere you get your podcasts. And as always, find all of our work at si.com/NFL/Steelers. With that said, we will be back tomorrow. Enjoy another beautiful day in the Berg. Peace.